welcome back to WDSportz. It's your host Ahmed today, and we've got another special guest today for the interview. Sam, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Sam Chippeck and I'm a Spurs vlogger. I've been doing this now since start of 2016-17 season, and since that's happened, haven't looked back, and I'm happy to say that I'm very happy to where my channel's got me. Obviously, of course, it's difficult at the moment with lockdown. I'm still trying to produce content, but yeah, as far as it goes describing myself, that's pretty much what I can say in a short answer.
That's nice and sweet. We like to talk about your first football memory on this. What was your first football memory? Was it to do with Spurs, or was it to playing football, or what was it really?
My first football memory was definitely Tottenham. I went as a toddler to my first game and didn't really understand what was going on, why people, screaming, shouting, singing, stuff like that, especially at the old White Hart Lane when where I was at first, it was a very loud atmosphere. And I think I remember when we scored at one point, I might have burst into tears as a toddler or something because it scared me, stuff like that. But yeah, no, I remember seeing Tottenham as my first ever team. My dad forced me into it as soon as I was born. I was put in Tottenham pyjamas. A lot of people would say that's torture as a child. But yeah, that's pretty much how I came about to supporting Tottenham, really, from family and generations of supporting the club.
I always find it curious when I talk to Spurs fans, because I think sometimes you have been on a roller coaster, especially in my lifetime. I've seen you guys compete at the height of the Premier League right to the lower part. How would you describe being a Spurs fan, and what do you think your hopes and aspirations are of being a Spurs fan in the future?
Yeah, I could be all night saying this, but if I have to be if I have to try and summarise it, there are some rival fans are going to say stuff like, "Oh, Tottenham haven't won this, Tottenham haven't won that, this, that, and the other." But no, there've been some good memories as a Spurs fan. Obviously, with what Mauricio Pochettino built, seeing this excitement of the quality that we got to see on the pitch, maybe not on a consistent level, but for when it was great, it was really, really great. Good memories as well include, winning the Carling Cup against Chelsea, because I was there at that game as a 11 or 12-year-old. I can't remember what age specifically, but that was a pretty special time as well. I'd say that is up there as one of the most special moments, as well as, even though I wasn't at the game, watching Ajax versus Tottenham with my family as well, because any Tottenham fan will tell you right now that for that moment alone, never mind what happened afterwards, their life peaked at that moment. So yeah, there've been some good memories. There's been a lot of disappointment, heartaches, frustration if, Levy and the boards don't really get their job done properly, which eventually led to the sacking of Pochettino, because even he was out of options and started putting some ludicrous substitutions on. And yeah, it's a heartache, I can't lie, but there is such thing as happiness as a Tottenham fan. I can tell you that right now, regardless to what rival fans might claim to say of the perspective and life of supporting Tottenham.
Yeah. Back to you now. What made you start doing a fan channel? Was it your noisy neighbours of Arsenal Fan TV that inspired you, or was it just that you just wanted to start your own and tell your own story?
No, it didn't have any reference to AFTV at all. In fact, in fact, I'd say what really did it was that two different reasons. Firstly, if anyone's ever watched my channel, I can sometimes be quite emotional when I watch a game, whether it's for something really up or something really down. And people have said, honestly, I could, some of my mates have said this when I'm watching it on TV, if I can't go to the game, or if it's another team and stuff like that, like England, for example. And they say, you've got to, your reactions are pretty comical, maybe you should just film it or something. And I was like, yeah, maybe. But I'd say the main primary reason was to give other fans a perspective of what it's like to not go to a game. because obviously, you know, when you watch the highlights of the match, it's going to show you like what went on in the match. But the most annoying thing is that when you're watching TV and for any game, and when a team scores home end or away end, you know, they never show the limbs. They always cut it to like the players celebrating. And that's what's always frustrating as a viewer. So that's what I wanted to do. And what inspired me to do that was me having family around the world who support Tottenham but don't live in this country. And I just wanted to like show them what it was like and just stick it on YouTube, send a video link to them. That was that from there, really. Little did I know this would basically generate some views, basically. And of course, I had a few inspirations of what made me want to do it, because there were vloggers that did this before I started, like Spencer FC or Bazinga. And I watched their videos and I was like, yeah, that's actually some pretty decent content. Maybe I should do that. But I had no clue I would get to where I am now. And really, yeah, like I said, it was just really to just give a video to watch for my family.
Yeah. I mean, that's a brilliant way to get started. We had Karthik from Full Time Devils and Harvey from AFTV a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
And we're discussing hate because for me personally, when I go to games, I always see fan cams outside the stadiums and stuff like that, and they do receive a lot of stick and stuff like that from traditional media and some other fans. Do you think that's given, or do you think that fan cams and fan channels are often just pointed out as to blame? You know, they're just often.
Yeah, just very quickly, who do you support again? Man United, isn't it?
Man United.
Yeah. So it's funny that you bring that up, because obviously, you know, with the Man U fan-based fan cams, they were getting a lot of stick. And I know someone, I won't mention the name, but he did tell me that there was a point where security was needed to avoid any trouble and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't. If I've got to be honest with you, there are some fan cams which have certain people that go on it. They'll say something, it will be used as a meme or as a laughing stock, and then fans who are not supportive of this idea are going to concentrate what that one person said onto all fans, and, you know, blame the fan cams for hosting it and stuff. You know, like AFTV have had that issue with haters. We're Tottenham TV, which I've done a few interviews for, don't have that issue specifically. I mean, I've been slated for some of the things I've said on We Are Tottenham TV because of maybe some reactionary opinions, which I would probably take back now when I look back at it, because they're all like fresh and organic views straight from after the game. But the problem is that because of what's happened with AFTV, other fan cams would be worried if the same issue would happen to them and stuff like that. And, you know, end of the day, when there's a bad performance, you know, fan cams aren't the ones that are playing the match. They're not the ones that are being paid loads of money to produce a diabolical performance and stuff like that. It's more of just an easy way of scapegoating someone. And also it's like, how do I put this? And I'm sorry if I'm waffling, but it's just, there's just so many like scenarios of it. It's like, imagine in school, you know, like everyone is like, you know, part of this popular crowd and stuff like that. And then they see that one person just having a voice who is not popular, maybe seen as the geek of the class or the neek of the year, stuff like that. And then they just want to like concentrate their anger on them because they're in a bad mood. That's sort of something I can see after a really bad result. They're seeing people with their microphones. They're like, oh, they're capitalizing off of this. They're going to make views off of this. They're going to make money, this, that, the other. And then they just like concentrate their anger on them and scapegoat them. It's not even rational people who do that. It's mainly people who have had a bit too much to drink, probably, you know, maybe even sniffed some lines in the toilet and don't even remember the starting lineup of how that game happened. It's just basically, you know, the old elements of football with hooliganism countering with the modernization of football fan media, basically.
Wow, I mean, that's a really good way of summing up. When we talk about to football content creators now, and you mentioned it at the start of the interview, how are you finding lockdown, and how do you think the world of football is really reacted to it?
Yeah, I have been watching Bundesliga matches for another YouTube channel called Offsiders, which I'm a part of. You look at the games and it's just not the same. I mean, the thing with Germany is that Germany's been way more efficient with this lockdown. So they are in a better position to experiment this because let's face it, with the most lucrative leagues in the world, which includes Bundesliga and Premier League, they're going to look at Bundesliga as like almost a guinea pig of the experiment. And they are carrying it well. I would say it's not the same without the fans, celebrations as well. They've got to even self-isolate with that. They can't even do tackles in training and stuff like that. It's just not the same, and it's forced. It's almost like we're forcing entertainment back in, which is just basically purely for money reasons, as I've said earlier. And then you look at how the lockdown is happening in this country, how much of a shambles this government has been dealing with it when they had time to sort it out. And then all of a sudden they're announcing that, Premier League will come back when we haven't even been anywhere close to finding an achievement of narrowing down the deaths and the rates of coronavirus. It's wrong, I think, to put Premier League back in action. To be honest, I don't even care if they give Liverpool the title or if the season gets voided. I just think that you just got to accept that this isn't going to work. But the only reason why people won't listen is because it's the money talking, and there's no, the guarantee of footballers. I mean, yeah, it's safety of footballers. I mean, yeah, it's good and well that they are performing regular tests on footballers, but they could still contract the virus when they're playing. Like, all they need to do is touch something that they step on, like pick up the ball or something, touch the end of a corner flag where someone may have touched it and had the virus. They touch their mouth or their eyes or whatever. There's no guarantee of safety. There's no clear plan of what's going on. It's just all too rushed, all because of money.
It's so true. And I think that comes back to what money talks about. But back to you as well. How are you finding it creating content? Are you somewhat struggling, or do you think you're doing okay with the situation you're in?
Yeah, I've been struggling, I'll tell you that. I mean, I've had a good day the other day at least, because I released a video in the Callum Hudson allegations, giving my opinion and outtake on it, and that's done pretty well. Yeah, FIFA content isn't something I enjoy doing, but if it puts happiness in people's faces or gives a bit of entertainment, then I'll do that. I'm sad to say this, but my content genuinely depends on match day vlogs or live reactions. And when there's no football about, I'm going to struggle. And it just is what it is. I'd love for things to go back to normal and get back to my YouTube channel, but I've also got to understand there's a deadly pandemic virus out there, and we're fighting a war against it. And there's times where I've just got to understand that I'm going to have to let my channel struggle. It should be the last thing on my mind, because right now we as a nation should be trying to get back on our feet and respecting this lockdown.
That's a brilliant way of summing it up. But back to you, Sam, hopefully in more positive outlets, because that's how I like to end it. In 10 years' time, if we did this interview, hopefully we can do it again. Where would you like to see yourself, and perhaps where would you like to see Spurs, if you could?
Well, for Spurs, I'd like to see trophy after trophy after trophy. I'd like to see Spurs as good, if not better, than the current Liverpool side. But that's probably, I don't know. I'll say it's probably not going to happen. But you never know. If you asked me 5 years ago if Tottenham were ever going to get to a Champions League final, I'd laugh at you. But yeah, you never know. I'd like to see Tottenham improving. I'd like to see us be able to keep our players. I'd like to see us be winning some silverware. As for my channel, I'd like to see myself, obviously expanding with growth, expanding with the Offsiders as well, with a group of other vloggers and friends of mine. And yeah, I'd like to just be able to as well go to some games abroad and vlog that experience and see what that's like, basically. That's just something I'd ideally would love to do. And obviously, of course, still have a YouTube channel and still be able to achieve goals and aims.
Yeah. Well, Sam, that's brilliant, and we wish you all the luck, and hopefully you'll be all right. But thank you so much for doing this interview from me and the rest of the WD Sports team. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.